So in the meantime, while we're waiting for this to settle, while we're waiting for companies to get back into full hiring mode, here are 4 things that you could consider that would help you create value, potentially earn an income, and also kind of close the gap in this time between where you are now and where you want to be in your career. So let's talk option 1, and it's called getting a gap job. So a gap job is going to be one of these hourly jobs that have been surging as a result. I mean, again, people assume that in a time like this, everything's losing. There are some companies that are absolutely thriving, right? You have companies like Amazon, you have food delivery services and grocery stores and the healthcare industry. There's a lot of surge for freelance type work as well. So there are gap positions out there, and they're called a gap position because it's just understood that this isn't your normal career profession. This isn't something you're planning on sticking with forever, but it would be an income and it would keep you busy. And this is really important for those people that are struggling being at home. There are some people that are adapting brilliantly to being at home or working from home. There are other people that just in their DNA, they were meant to be moving. They can't sit still. They're used to interacting with people. They're used to being on the go. And this is really devastating for them. So individuals like that need a routine, need to be out, need to be doing something. A gap job is perfect for that individual because it'll give them some of those really important things that are missing in their life right now while they're, in the midst of this crisis. So gap job, definitely an option. I just want to tell you from a recruiter standpoint, there's no shame in taking a gap job. Let me make this perfectly clear. In really good economic times, if you're unemployed and you take a gap job, you're right. People might question, well, why are you taking that job? You have all these skill sets. What's wrong with you? Okay. So a lot of people try to avoid gap jobs because they say it'll look funny. It'll look like a disruption in my work history as a professional. Not right now. No recruiter, no hiring manager, nobody in HR is ever going to question somebody who took a gap job right now during these times. So if ever there was a time you thought, gee, I've always wondered what it'd be like if I did that type of work, now's the time. Do it. Absolutely. Because no one is going to criticize you for it. If anything, they're going to be really impressed that you stepped up to the plate and you engaged. So let's look at option number 2, and this is offering pro bono services. And this is something I've been coaching a lot of Work It Daily members on how to do this. If you ever thought about freelancing or contract work before, you've ever wondered what it's like, could you make it as a freelancer or as a contractor? Now is absolutely the time for you to consider that. And what you want to do is offer your services for free. So you can put together something and post it on LinkedIn, for example, that explains your skill set, explains the kind of work that you do, and say, I am willing to do one project for your company for free. Contact me to learn more. Now, notice I said one project, because what you don't want to do is continuous pro bono work for the same company who's getting all this value for free. But if you put yourself out there and offer up, hey, I'll write one article for you for free. I'll put together one PowerPoint presentation for free. I'll do this one thing for free. What happens is they're getting much needed break right now. You're getting work experience. You're building a relationship with them. And after that, if they really like you, what are they going to do? Well, it's much easier to want to pull the trigger and hire you for more project work. So this is truly a wonderful time. If you're not working right now anyways, why not offer up one pro bono opportunity to a bunch of different companies? If you did this to 10 different companies, that would be 10 projects that you could put on here right now. You would show all of the depth. You would literally build your portfolio as a freelancer right now. And I guarantee you, somewhere in there, you'd build a relationship with 1 or 2 of them who'll say, okay, we'll pay you next time. We'll hire you again. Because what it is you're breadcrumbing them, so to speak. You're getting them interested. You're getting them to know you and your work style. And now their fear of hiring you and the fear of the return on the investment dramatically drops. So perfect time right now, folks. Get out there and pro bono it up. Just remember, limit it, 1 per customer. Okay. All right. Option number 3, upskill for a side hustle. You are going to see an incredible amount of organizations offering training for free right now. If you've ever thought about getting into a different type of career or a different area of expertise, maybe a different industry, go find one of the hundreds, if not thousands, of free courses out there right now that companies are giving away. And I'll give you an example. Here at Work It Daily, we're actually in growth mode. We're one of the industries that are growing, right? People need career coaching help. So we are going to be allowing recruiters who are getting laid off in droves to go through our free career coaching training. Because recruiters, we only hire people who come from a recruiting and an HR and training background who truly understand and can help you in your career. That's how we work. So it only makes sense that we would open it up and say, if these recruiters are home right now and they don't have jobs, and there's a really good chance they won't get their jobs back, because a lot of companies won't be hiring again for a very long time. So the sheer number of recruiters that companies will need will drop. Why wouldn't we say, would you like to try a new skill? Have you ever thought about career coaching? Let's put you through the training and see what you think. So we're looking at that. I've seen companies, a ton of companies in the social media space are offering their social media certifications for free, where they're teaching them all of their technologies right now. So if you've ever wanted to become a social media manager, I'm seeing courses on that as well. It's just incredible how many people are putting out free learnings, free trainings that you can take, and there's no barrier to entry. You don't have to have come from the industry. You don't have to have a certain degree. You don't have to have worked at a certain place, and you don't have to pay. So get out there, do your research. If there was ever a side hustle that you wanted to start to build up and maybe even make your full-time career sometime, taking some free training in that space right now is the way to do it. Okay, and here's option number 4, identifying an industry pivot. So I just did an exercise on this morning with all the Work It Daily members. We were doing a live session, and I said, you need to think about the opportunities that are coming out of the constraints right now. So yes, maybe your industry is dying as a result of this. Maybe your type of work is dying as a result of this, but you have to think 1 to 2 steps ahead. What companies are going to start to grow as a result of this? What industries are going to start to grow as a result of this? Which ones interest you? Because now would be the time to start to strategize how you can revamp your resume and your LinkedIn profile, how you can start to network and meet people in that industry or in that new field, so that you can prepare yourself to transfer your skills and make a pivot. Some of these industries that are going to blow up, when this is over, all the talent they need, in terms of having the exact education and the exact experience, is not going to be there. It literally will not be there. And they'll be so busy trying to hire that they'll have to, I don't want to say drop their standards, but they'll open up what they're willing to accept. Now, if you've done your homework and you can connect the dots and say to them, here's why I know I want to be in your industry now. Here's why I know I want to be in this skill set. Here are my transferable skills that I know absolutely speak to this. Here are the people that I've met and spoken to that have validated for me that this is going to be the right career move for me. You're going to stand out in a sea of other candidates who are just blindly applying and hoping they get picked, when in reality, they haven't shown or done anything to prove that they really would be a good candidate for the job, in spite of the fact they don't have the experience or the skill set. So this is the time. Connect the dots for employers. Get your package together, right? You're a business of one. You've got to put your brand together to explain to them why you want to break into this new industry. And there's going to be a lot of them, folks. I will tell you, go back through history. Every time there's a recession, amazing businesses pop out of this. In fact, I saw another article this morning that talked about how many tech companies on the end of something like this absolutely explode. The ones that were weak and really didn't have a strong business model, they die. So a lot of tech startups won't survive right now. But guess what? There are some that are going to come out on the end of this, and they're going to be huge. They're going to be enormous, and there's going to be incredible opportunity. That's my point. Look for the opportunity. If you're going to look for the negativity, if you're going to look for the failure, if you're only going to stare at the unemployment numbers, then that's what's going to happen. You're going to limit yourself and you're not going to grow. But if you can sit back and go, wait a minute, this will come to an end, because it will. And there will be dramatic shifts, because there will be. And there will be some pretty cool opportunities. And if I start thinking about it now, think about what I can say and do when the time comes, right? So it really is a good time to be thinking about this. All right, there you have it. 4 options right now. Yes, there are jobs out there. You need to look for them, but these were 4 ways you really could think about job search right now in a different way that would serve you and your career. Okay. With that in mind, I always have 2 tips for you before we get down to questions today, because I'm sure there's a lot of them. Here are my final 2 tips on this subject. First of all, take time right now to self-assess. The biggest mistake job seekers make is that they don't assess themselves and understand their strengths, their weaknesses, their preferences, their skill sets, what's marketable about them, what's in demand. They just don't do it. They don't study their communication style. They don't study their workplace personas, their learning style, their unique gifts. These are all things that you should be understanding about yourself collectively so that you can make informed decisions. And if there was ever a time to do that, now is the time. We have a ton of free resources at Work It Daily. If you go to workitdaily.com/resources, for example, there's 2 quizzes there you can take. One that teaches you your personality, your communication style in the workplace, and one that teaches you your personas in the workplace, which is how you like to create value, how you like to be perceived as an expert in the workplace. These are super important things, and this is just 2 of them, right? So take the time, do the self-assessment. That being said, not too much time. I'm not talking about procrastination here, folks. I don't think you should be studying yourself for the next 2 months. I think you can do some really focused studying over a couple of days, take some tools, do some reading, get some assessments done. Come inside Work It Daily. We have an entire course called the Professional Strengths Assessment. You can do that whole thing, bang it out, be done, and good to go. But don't waste too much time on the assessment, but definitely get it done. And secondly, tip number 2, please talk through your options with professionals, not family and friends. This one is, I just can't stress it enough. Your family and your friends, your significant other, these people, they're in a relationship with you. They are naturally biased. They remember you when you were an infant all the way through till now. So they project onto you and they don't have a clear head about what's best for you, your skills, your needs, and your situation. So talking it through with them is not the best option. You need to find a trusted mentor or an advisor. You need to find an objective third party. Hopefully you have some peers, industry peers that you admire that you could have conversations with. You can obviously hire career coaches. You can come inside Work It Daily and work with all of our career coaching team and other members. There has to be a way for you to have a sounding board when it comes to these options, because you need to get that outside perspective from people. We're too close to it. In situations like this, it's very hard for us to see clearly. We can be very emotional, and so can our family and friends. So please, they are not trained or qualified professionals. They are not in your industry, right? And they while they love you and they definitely have your best interest at heart, it doesn't mean they're going to give you the right advice. So please talk through your options right now with trained, credible people. That is super important so that you make smart decisions, okay?